All right. Good morning, everyone. This is Hannah Ammerman, Regional Vice President, and I get the pleasure of introducing you to Ellie Herdina today. She is in my success line through Emily Stevens' team, and Emily did Instagram training part one last week. So if you haven't seen that, you can go on Changing Lives and grab the YouTube link for that. But then Ellie is going to talk with us today a little bit about reaching out and just some of the tactics that she has been using because she's been killing it on Instagram. So Ellie, I'm going to let you take it away. And if you guys have questions while this is recording, you can type them in the chat and I will answer them. And if I can't answer it, then I'll interrupt Ellie and ask her. So Ellie, go ahead and take it away.
Okay, well, welcome everyone. I hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving. I'm still full. So I think I'm going to start talking about like the difference between a personal and a business account, and then how you can go from there to do reach outs. And business accounts aren't necessarily like super important, but it's helped me a lot because it kind of filters people for me. And then it gives you a way to reach out to people a little bit easier. So what I did was I made a business account, which is a separate Instagram account for like not necessarily just Arbonne, but I made it more of like a healthy living account. So I made that account. I posted one thing saying like with a picture saying what this all is. And then what I did was started to try to grow my follower base. So what I did was I went to my personal account and just started scrolling through my followers and just following everyone that I think maybe would be interested in following me back. So that way they can like see the account and choose from there if they want to follow me back. So I probably went first night, maybe followed like 200 people on there. And then I would say like 75% of those people will follow back. Some people just won't because they don't want to follow another account, but then other people, they're choosing to follow you back. So I think that's really important because then you know you're not going to be annoying any of those people if they're choosing to follow your separate healthy living / Arbonne account. So from there, like I'll every day, every third day or so, I'll go through my followers again and refollow those people. I don't necessarily follow like people I don't know. But then I sometimes do get followers of people I don't know. Or I'll follow, like if they're already following my personal account and they're kind of acquaintances, then that might be a good way to follow someone. And then you can kind of reconnect with them. So then from there, you have followers on this new account. So what's awesome then is anything you're posting on that account, you know those people want to see versus bombarding your personal Instagram with a bunch of Arbonne things that maybe people are like, oh my gosh, this is really annoying. Like, get me off of it. So, but then you have this other outlet now where you can just bombard it. People are choosing to follow it. So your story, like I constantly have a story up of something Arbonne related or healthy living related. And the people that are viewing that are choosing to stay following you. They could unfollow you, if they weren't interested anymore. And then I would say maybe once a day or every other day, I'll post on my personal account something on my story about Arbonne because I get, about 4 times the amount of viewers on my personal account just because of followers. So I don't completely ignore that, but I just like throw it in here and there versus my business account that I post all things Arbonne all the time. What's really cool, some added advantages to actually making it a business account through Instagram is they do free analytics. So on any of your posts, on any of your story posts, on just your profile views in general, you can see like the breakdown of how many people it's reaching, if they're male or female, their age range. If you have a story and you tag someone in it, you can see how many times someone tapped on that sticker. If you like, you can kind of see like, oh, has it been a good week of people visiting my profile? Like if your number's way up, you can say, oh, good. Like I've had a lot of traffic to my profile this week versus like a different week where you're like, oh, it's down 200. What did I do differently? And then you can kind of work on figuring that out. I can maybe try to show you on my phone. I don't know how well it'll come up, but so like I can go and click on this post I put of my mom and there is a view insights button. So this is also a good way to see if your hashtags were working because it'll tell you how many people from this post then went to visit your profile and then how many people actually saw your profile on Instagram and the percentage of those people that were following you or not. So like this one, probably my hashtags were probably not great. I had 9% of people who saw my post not following me. So that means people found it from hashtags or just like on the explore page. But there's like a different post I have from a while ago where my reach was pretty high. I don't know if you can see it, but 92% of accounts that saw it weren't following me. So that means only 8% of viewers were my followers. So that means I did something right with the hashtags that day. So then you can kind of go and use those hashtags or the timing of the post or the type of post to kind of get an idea of what is working and what's not, which I think is super helpful. You can also add on little buttons on your profile then when it's a business account for text or email. So it just makes you that much more reachable. And then with that business account, then I focus it more on like lifestyle posts and Arbonne posts. So you want to give it value to people who maybe will never buy a thing from you, but you want them to keep following along because maybe there is one day they're going to be like, okay, I need something. Like I know who to ask. So I keep it valuable as far as posting just like general, like motivational things, like healthy living, just anything like that. And then some product focused posts as well. So starting from there, then reaching out becomes really easy because then you can start from the pool of people that are already choosing to follow your Instagram account. So, or your business Instagram account. So what I do is like, I'll look at who's viewing my stories first. When I need some inspiration of like, who can I ask today? I go and look at who's viewing my stories. You can go see, you know, people who are looking at those pretty regularly, and you can see, okay, this person watches it every time I post something. Now's probably my chance to go reach out to them. Or you can see who regularly is liking your pictures. And then your reach out becomes more of a thank you. You can say, thank you so much for following along my Arbonne or my Healthy Living Instagram page. I'm sure you've seen what I've been posting lately, but I just wanted to talk to you specifically a little more about it because I think you'd love it as much as I do. I like, for example, I reached out to a girl who I went to college with, but I see her at the gym every day. So I'm like, said that same thing. And I'm like, look, I know you're really health conscious like me. And I think you might like this stuff in the same way I do. And it's like, this is what's most important to me. And then I talk about the ingredient philosophy a little bit. I try to keep that message like within the screen length. So it's not super long. But things like that. Or I had 2 friends get married a month or 2 ago. So I reached out to them saying, hey, thank you so much for following along my Healthy Living account. Your wedding looked beautiful. You looked beautiful. I'm so happy for you. And I'm sure you've seen what I've been posting on here, but I just want to tell you a little more about it. So you can have like a generic thing you would say to everybody, but also make it customizable. So for me, like, since I am a student, I'm in class, like I have 10 minutes in between classes, like I can crank out like 2 or 3 in those 10 minutes because I have this little template of something I'm going to say, but then I go in and add a sentence or 2, like specific to them, or I modify it a little bit to them. So that's really easy for me because that takes 2 minutes. The Instagram direct messaging is like a very normal means of communication. So don't feel like you're being creepy messaging them on as a DM or a direct message, because that is like, you can almost like swap that out with texting. It's the same thing. For people at least my age, I communicate in direct message just as much as I text probably. So don't be afraid to do that. And if you are going to reach out to someone you don't know, try to have it be someone who's been following you for like at least a week or so. So then you can say, you know, like, hey, like I've visited your profile. Make sure you, like, if someone follows you and you're like, oh, this could be someone good to reach out to, follow them back. So you can say like, I've been following around with what's up with you? Like for me, for example, I had a girl who just followed me who's a physical therapy student in DC, and she has like this account for like, it's like called like grinding through grad school or something. So it's like an account specific to her PT school life. So now I'm able to reach out to her since we've been following each other for a couple of weeks and be like, hey, like I see what you're posting. I think it's awesome. Look at, like, we have a really similar background. You might want to hear about a little bit extra thing I'm doing on the side while I'm in grad school. So things like that. I don't like straight up like just cold call people because they'll know like if you're just reaching out to them just to like check off on your list, I reached out to this many people a day, versus I chose to reach out to you and this is why I think you're going to like it as much as I do. So formulating messages like that are really helpful. And I could post maybe on Facebook, like example verbiage of something I've used to reach out to someone if that would be helpful. But it's pretty much what I was just saying. So from there, like, you can really never run out of people to reach out to to give you guys an idea, my Healthy Living account has almost 400 followers right now. And I would say on a typical story I post, I get anywhere from 150 to 200 views on it. So I could reach out to all of those people. I haven't reached out to all of them yet. So like I said, my followers are always growing. There's always new people to reach out to, and just looking for who to reach out to. Or those people that are consistently viewing it, you know, the more times people see something, the more curious they're going to be. Another thing is, okay, sounds good, Lisa. Another thing is, if you're going to put polls in your story, which is really beneficial. I see benefit in putting it two different ways. So you can put it in a place where you know people won't accidentally click it, like they have to like touch the top of the screen or something to get it. Or I've seen a lot of value actually in putting it right where you know someone's going to have their thumb so they accidentally click it. That being said, anytime I do a poll then and someone replies or someone clicks on it, like the send me more info, I'll say before I send like a whole slew of information, I'll say, did you look, I saw you responded to this. Did you mean to click it on purpose? Was it on accident? Because I'd love to send you information. I would say like 80% of the time when someone says I clicked it on accident, they're like, but I've been seeing what you've been posting. Can you tell me about it anyway? So it's kind of a good like strategy to like get talking to someone. So you're not just straight up messaging them, but you're asking them first, like, would you like to hear more? Then they have to respond to you because you're asking a question. And then a lot of times people are like, tell me anyway. And then even if they're still not interested, at least like they know a little bit more. So when they're following you more, they see it. When I get people to respond to say either that or when I'm first reaching out to them, I'll ask them specifically, what of this sounds interesting to you? So I'll make sure to mention that we have nutrition, bath and body, skincare, makeup products, and also like there's a business side, aka what I do. So I try to mention that, and then at the end of that message, I'll say, you know, are you interested? And or something. If they say yes, then I'll say, look, what out of this are you most interested in? And then some people will say like, probably just makeup for now, or they'll be like, well, nutrition, but I also want to hear more about what you do. Then you have a direction of what to send them next, just because we do have so much to offer. It's really easy to be like word vomit, like I want to tell you everything, but instead then directing it to what they want to hear. Then you can also have some preset things for, this is what I tell people when they want to know more about 30 days. This is what I tell people when they want to know more about skincare, makeup, etc. Then once again, that information passing on becomes really quick because you can have the preset thing in your notes on your phone, copy, paste, edit it a little bit, then send it, versus like having to type out paragraphs every time you reach out to someone. Once again, I don't have time for that, so I can do it quick in between classes. I think something my team and I have found really, really important lately is anytime you're reaching out to someone on Instagram, it's so easy to end it with, and just, yeah, let me know, right? So you can say like, just let me know what you want, or like, if you want me to send you some samples, let me know. Like that let me know thing needs to not happen, because that makes it so easy for that other person that you're reaching out to just be like, okay, that's my cue, I don't need to respond. Instead of being like, so say like you're going to offer someone to send them samples, you can say, I would love to send you some samples. What products would you most be interested in trying? Instead of, I'd love to send you some samples. Let me know if you want some. Then they have to respond. They have to show some interest. And you can be like, oh, great. Like interested in the nutrition. Well, I'll throw in like the skincare sample just so you can try it anyway, since I'm sending you stuff. But that I cannot emphasize more like enough is like, you have to ask a question. Otherwise, like people will just straight up stop talking. If you get one response on anything, like that's so much better than I get ignored all the time, which is fine. That's the nature of it. But if you get one response, like you need to keep that conversation line open, and you need to do it by asking questions and keeping them engaged and figuring out like how Arbonne could fit into their life for them without being so word vomit. Like at the most, like I said, kind of use the screen as a limit for how long your message should be. Because you don't want to get people disengaged unless someone's the type of person, you know, like I have some friends that are like, they need everything laid out on the table for them before they even consider anything. Like that's when I'll send them more information. And the information I send, I like to make it a personal story of mine. So if someone's interested in the 30 days, I'll tell them like, this is the success I've had. I haven't had coffee since September. I've, lost X amount of pounds. I felt this way, versus saying like, here's what it is. So if you make it more personal, also like the skincare, you can be like, wow, like this is the first thing that's ever worked for me. It worked in 3 days, that kind of thing. Then people trust your opinion. If they're going to follow you and they know you, they'll trust your opinion. So if you say like, I truly believe in this and this is why, people will be like, oh, well, if Ellie's believing in it, maybe I should think about it too. So that is kind of like my most efficient way of doing it, is having a preset thing written out first, then going and customizing it. So then also I have graphics handy. It's really easy to send. Like my go-to things I'll send for the 30 days is that like cheat sheet, where it shows like there's like a little circle on it where it shows like how much of your plate should be filled with what. It shows like what's in a shake. It shows the eliminate or limit list. and it's just one page, like a one-page PDF. I just have it screenshotted. I'll send that. It gives a really good picture. If anyone's interested in like nutrition and skincare, there's that one flyer that shows the 4 different packages where it's like the 30 days, the starter kit, the RE9 Advance, and the prep work, like that, and then that shows the prices on it too. Also, a really good trick when someone asks for price to kind of lead with the business as well, if you think someone would be a good consultant. So you can walk them through the prices. So I have that preset for nutrition. So I say like, here's the full 30 days, this price, this is what it comes with. Here's that starter pack, this price, here's what it comes with. So people can see, how much more they get if they just upgrade a little to the full pack. But then I'll go and say, look, as a consultant, this becomes even cheaper. Like, my prices are even below these. So if that's something you'd be like, if that would remotely interest you at all, like I'd love to tell you more about it too. So you can kind of share the business from the side of, look, the best thing about the business is you get the most discounts too. Like you can start there and then it could turn into making money. So that's kind of a good segue into talking about that. If you don't want to be like in your face, like you should join my team, versus like, I know you're already interested in products, here's a way to get them cheaper. And then maybe you'll want to do what I do if you love them as much as I do. So that works pretty well. As far as other ways like to get responses from stories is posting. You can post like little question polls. Sometimes I've even done one where like I put a picture of my skincare and say, who wants samples? Like put your address here. That's worked really well for me too. But definitely the polls I think are the easiest and people will respond to the most. And like I said, if you put it in a way where they'll accidentally hit it, it gives you a reason to message them. I also should show you something really quick. I should have a story. I think I have some stories on my personal account of the Snow's dogs. I was at their Thanksgiving last night. So you can go and say like, oh, look at Callie's my top viewer. So say someone watches your story, right? And you want to message them or they responded to your poll. You can click this little like mail envelope thing. And then when you send them a message, I'll just send this to Callie because I'll just say, hi, Callie. So you send them a message off of your story like this. What's really nice is then when you message them, it shows up as your story, like a response to your story. So if they responded to a poll, you can say, hey, I saw you respond to this. They might not realize they did, but then they'll go back and look at it, know what you're talking about, and then be like, hey, I might be interested in this. I put the Healthy for the Holidays one up with a poll the other day. And I had some girl literally say, I did that on accident, but I just looked at it again and that looks really cool. You should tell me about it. So then your story actually comes up here, which is really helpful. Then they'll know what you're referencing when you say, look, you responded to this. But those are some of the big things that have worked for me. I think just like the business account isn't 100% necessary, but it's helped me try to keep like people, like especially like my guy friends, like not as interested. They're gonna be like one of my guy cousins is like, stop posting that stuff on your personal account, so it's like I can post it every few days and it's fine on my personal account because I do get way more reach on that obviously, but then I can kind of bombard my business account. Then you get the added benefits of analytics, and I have a lot of people like they'll follow both and they don't mind, and they know what they're getting when you are posting on your Healthy Living account. Just make sure like you keep it something like someone wants to follow that maybe they aren't interested in products right now, but like you keep it beneficial for them to follow as far as lifestyle or just like general posts. One other thing I did want to cover because people ask me about it is the stickers on my profile. So like I have all orange ones just because my preset kind of has an orange tint to it. So I just chose to do orange. I made those on canva.com. You could make them on really anything. You could too, just like have a plain color. I just picked little like symbols for mine. So then it makes it a little more organized. And the only thing you have to do for that is you make them, you have to post them on your story. And then when you go to edit your different buttons, so say like I wanted to, I need to switch back to my account. Oh, and switching between business and personal accounts is really easy. It just shows up. So I'm on my personal right now. For me to switch to my other one, I just tap that and go to my other one. So it really isn't like time. You don't have to relog out or anything. Instagram has streamlined that really well. But for example, to add on those buttons, so I'm just opened up my team. Oh, a huge thing of snow just fell from there. I just opened up my team story. You go to this more button and then you go to edit highlight. Sorry, you can't see it. It's the second one down. It says edit highlight. Then you go into your archive. So it goes highlight and then archive. You go into there, and this is where all of your previous stories are going to be. So if you have posted it on your story, that thing, that website was canva.com. And you could do that on any one. I just used that one because you can do it on your desktop, so it's easier. So then you would go and select whatever you'd want to add. I'm not going to actually do this right now. And you click done. So you'd add it like that, click done. Then when you go into your story to edit highlight, you click this edit cover button right here. And then that's going to go to all of your options within that story. So like mine, this is my team one. So I have all my team members, but this is what I want as my cover. Since I added it to that story pot, I would say, then you can put that as your sticker. So I just did it all as one blast of like, I bombarded my story with 6 of these pictures. You have to leave them on there for a day. If you delete them, they won't go to your archive, which it's fine. People will realize what it is. People do this all the time. And then you can put it as your button. So then I would suggest doing like a color that kind of goes with the theme of your Instagram, I guess. Like I said, my preset is a mango one, so there's more orange in it, so I chose orange. But yeah, and I also put in the in my like biography, or I don't know what you say, like your little profile section at the top, I tag both of my accounts. So like on my personal, I put my healthy living one there, and then on my healthy living one, I tag my personal. So if people are like just seeing my healthy living one, they'll see, oh, this isn't her personal account, this is a separate account. Maybe I'm going to go follow her personal versus her business account instead. And then in both, I also put my Arbonne link right in it. So that's pretty much that. Do you guys have any questions while we're on here? Oh, so for me, okay, I'll address those. So for me, I went on Etsy, and I didn't get to watch Emily's video, so I don't know if she talked about presets or not. But I went on Etsy to find a preset, which is just basically like a standard filter that you can use for all of your pictures. The one I picked out that I really liked happened to be mango, like that was the color, and it just has like an orange tint to it, I would say. So then I did that. There are a lot of them that'll have like really like cool colors like blues. So then you can make it blue. I've seen some profiles do like all black and white, and that looks really cool too. So that's kind of how I chose to do orange. You could really pick anything. It's not super important. Yeah, and Lightroom is what you have to use for presets to put them on your pictures. So you buy it off of Etsy, download it to Lightroom, and then that's how you copy and paste it onto all of your pictures. So, and it's only like $4 to buy. It's not like it's really expensive. It was worth it for me because it's like saves you any photo editing steps, and everything looks pretty uniform then. As far as getting someone on the phone, I've only really done that with people who have a ton of questions, like to the point where like I feel like I would be typing my fingers off to answer them, and they would maybe at some point like be like, this is a lot of words. Or if they have a lot of interest, like if they're like, okay, nutrition, makeup, and skincare, tell me all about it, then I'll be like, look, this would be way easier to cover on a 15-minute phone call. Like, would you have time like sometime today or tomorrow? If I have someone specifically showing interest in being a consultant, that is a really easy way to go into word vomit in Instagram DM, because you want to tell them everything. So that's also when I'll say like, do you have time for a 15-minute phone call? Way easier. And then you can schedule a time that you want to call them, or they can say like, look, I'm available anytime from 5 to 7 tonight. And then you give them a specific time. Like, I'm calling you then at 5:30. How's that sound? Like, here's my number, so you know it's me when it's coming in. So yeah, if I've literally had people like order via Instagram DM, but I've also had people be like, I need to know more. That's when I would give them a phone call before I start sending them. Like, if you feel like you're about to send them 10 messages in a row, figure out how to not send them 10 messages in a row, or call them. If it's something you can cover in like 2 messages between their responses, then stick to Instagram DM. I think keeping it is, and that's hard. It definitely got a lot harder. It was a lot harder for me at the start to like try to consolidate what I say, because you want to tell everyone everything. You're so excited, but you also have to keep it so they're not just going to be like, that's too much to read right now. Never mind. So yeah. Any other questions? Otherwise, I think I covered most of that. Are you sending them to your site? When I can, I'll do it myself, just because then I know it gets in. But some people will be like, I would prefer to just do it myself, and then I send them my site, and I just say like, I also have this little, I typed a thing in notes of like how to build like a nutrition pack order if they're doing it themselves. So I say like, go to ellihardina.arbonne.com, register, make sure you go through the full registration, because that's when the value packs will show up, blah, blah, blah. And then go to your value pack, then you have to build it. And then I say like, here's the difference between greens and body cleanse, blah, blah, blah. And then I say at checkout, like, don't forget to miss your free gift. So I have that like typed up in a note on my laptop, and I screenshot it on my laptop. So it's like picture. So it's a little easier to follow than like a long message. I kind of like that. But a lot of times I'll do it myself, and then I'll call them for their credit card information. So yeah. Anything else, guys?
Ellie, this is super helpful. I appreciate you sharing how you reached out, how you built it. Just from my own experience, I started a separate Instagram account. I started Hannah Ammerman, which is different than my personal one, earlier this summer. And it's been really helpful because I have that one public. So I think that's another thing to point out, like your business account, make sure it's public, because then people can follow you. And Emily touched on that last week. But yeah, because I have people starting to follow me too on my business side from all over, from Seattle to the East Coast. I have some random people from Germany and Poland following me, because it's public and people can see it from anywhere. But those hashtags I think are really key. And then, yeah, just incorporating that business and life is great. And Ellie, if you guys don't follow Ellie, it's living well with L, with periods in between each word.
Yeah.
So yeah, Ellie's really great to follow and just get ideas on how to do that. But I think from your end, Ellie, if you can even either post it on our Changing Lives site, or you can send me your screenshot of your verbiage, and then I can post it with the link. Let's do that, actually. And then, yeah, if you guys have questions, feel free to message Ellie or send them my way and I can get them to her. But this is super helpful, Ellie. I just so appreciate it.
Of course. Glad I can help.
And keep rocking your business. And I would say to everybody else, like, be brave, step out there, even if you don't exactly know what you're doing, because there's a ton of times I don't know what I'm doing. Just try. Like, each time you try, you get a little bit braver. You get a little bit more confident and going, okay, well, that worked well, that didn't. Because all in all, like, if we don't put it out there, nobody even knows we're trying to put it out there. So that's really what I would say about that too. Anything else from you, Ellie?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, you guys have a great rest of everybody that's watching, have a great rest of your Thanksgiving weekend, and we will see you soon. Thanks, Ellie.
Yep. Bye-bye.